Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad you decided to tune in. Fans, today we have a very special guest joining Dodgers Daily for the first time. Noah Davis just came to the Dodgers this year. You've been a Dodgers fan, I'm sure, a long time. You're a SoCal boy, Huntington Beach. So first of all, tell us what it means to be a Dodger.
Yeah, growing up in Huntington Beach, not too far away, about 40 minutes south. Actually grew up a bigger Angels fan than Dodger fan, but it was just a little bit closer. But back in those days, AL, NL didn't play each other too much, so I was able to have kind of two separate teams. So I always kept an eye on the Dodgers. And yeah, it's just been a pretty surreal experience being able to be back home and playing for the hometown team. Major
league debut at Dodger Stadium, Dodgers debut in Wrigley Field. I mean, how lucky can a guy get, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty cool, I remember that debut, kind of, somewhat of a meaningless game for both sides at that point, last day of the season, but Dodger Stadium was rocking. I remember throwing with PitchCom in for the first time and not being able to hear it because everyone was cheering for Freddie Freeman when I was trying to get him out. So yeah, pretty cool. And then I'd made a couple stops at Wrigley Field in the last few years, but being able to be out there wearing Dodger blue is something else, I think.
Did you take the L train and get off on Addison Avenue there?
No, I did. The first time I went to Wrigley, I did take the train home from the game with my parents, but this time I just take the team bus.
UC Santa Barbara, 2016. I'm a huge Oklahoma State fan. OSU, UC Santa Barbara. It's Shane Bieber, Thomas Hatch, Trevor Betancourt, who was a former Dodgers fan, was on that team as well. You were on that team. Do you have any memories from that 2016 team?
Yeah, absolutely. I think our run to Omaha was something that was pretty special. Not a lot of people would have penciled us in there at the beginning of the season, but we found a way to get some wins, get hot at the right time, and win some close ball games. So, yeah, I remember sitting in the dugout. I think I was on the pitching chart watching Bieber versus Hatch, and I think it was a 1-0 game. They both won complete games, and just pretty insane display of pitching on that day.
Weekend before, you're at Louisville. Do you remember who the catcher was for Louisville that weekend?
I do, Will Smith.
Will Smith. So did you talk to him about that? Did he remember that? Or?
Yeah, I talked to him about it a couple weeks ago when I was up there, and he definitely remembered. I think a lot of Louisville players and fans will remember that day as a tough day. But as far as the Gauchos go, it's a pretty big day in Gaucho history. So we had a quick conversation about it.
I was talking to your buddy Trevor Betancourt, who was on that team. He was with I think he came up and down between Tulsa and Oklahoma City quite a bit the last couple of years. He said it was like the hottest 3 days of his life, like his feet were burning. Talk about Trevor Betancourt and that whole situation.
Yeah, I played with Betty for 1 year in college, and then kind of saw him in a few different stops throughout pro ball. Saw him in AA over in the Eastern League when he was with the Phillies, and then actually saw him pitch here against us when I was with Albuquerque. And trained with him a little bit in the off season at Driveline. So, I'm pretty close with Betty and been to a couple weddings together. He's always been a good time. Really good teammate, really good clubhouse guy. Keeps the bullpen pretty fun out there.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
And he has a cool dog too, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Bagel, I think, is what he calls his dog.
Yeah.
And he has that curveball.
Oh, yeah.
That curveball's insane. And you have a screwball, right? Can you tell me about your screwball?
Yeah, I mean, it comes up as a screwball that kind of just originated as like trying to delineate between two different changeup grips. I wanted them to have separate tags so the numbers didn't get merged together. But for the most part, it's just a changeup. I thought it would just kind of be funny to call it a screwball because I'm aiming for that depth that a screwball gets.
So you got to name it?
I mean, I got to pick from the selected group of tags, but I went up to the video guy in Albuquerque last year and I said, can we just start calling this one a screwball? Because it moves kind of like a screwball does.
Oh, fantastic.
And next thing you know, I'm seeing it on Twitter. People are talking about screwball, whatever. And it doesn't matter too much to me. It's just another pitch for me.
2018 you got drafted, is that correct?
Yes. I was drafted by the Reds in 18 and then traded over there in 2021.
23, 24, you're on that up-down train. You choose free agency. You end up with the Red Sox. And then you end up getting traded to the Dodgers. Can you take us through that whole business aspect of it?
Yeah, it's been a crazy year, to say the least.
Right.
Going into free agency for the first time and was exciting, but also stressful. I see how the job market has played out the last couple off seasons, and there are some pretty good players that don't end up finding jobs in affiliated baseball. So I was a little bit nervous. Kind of had Boston as on my radar as a place I really wanted to go to heading into free agency, and they weren't super quick to reach out, but they came in right around the time I was about to make a decision between some other teams, and kind of swooped in and made a really solid offer, and I was super excited to join that organization. And had a great spring over there, learning a lot, getting familiar with the coaching staff and the players over there. And then, you know, exercised my upward mobility clause at the end of spring training with hopes of getting on a 40-man roster somewhere, and they chose to send me here. The Dodgers had reached out about expressing some interest, so they worked out a trade, and I made my way over here just in time for opening day.
So you've seen different organizations. Can you compare them to the Dodgers as far as the development goes?
I don't think there is any comparison between the Dodgers and anywhere else I've been. You know, there have been positives and negatives about everywhere I've been. I think a lot of good, but you know, I think I don't have a single bad word to say about anything that we do over here. And it was great over in Boston as well. I thought that they were definitely heading in the right direction, and I was excited to be a part of it, but coming over here, it's like, this is cream of the crop over here.
So the full mix, you have a sinker and a sweeper, plus the screwball that you got to tag yourself. That's really cool, by the way. I've never heard that story before. So can you take us where your mix is at right now?
Yeah, you know, primarily sinker as far as fastballs go. Have the big sweeper, it's kind of my go-to breaking ball, and then cutter somewhere in the middle, kind of a bridge pitch to get a little more chase on both sides. And then the changeup has been kind of a work in progress in terms of throwing it where I want to and getting it to good spots in the zone. So just kind of playing with that right now. It's been encouraging so far. The coaching staff here has been very supportive of me trying that out and kind of heading for the more upside pitch. But yeah, mixing in the occasional four seam, trying to get that a bigger part of my arsenal, especially against left-handed hitters. So just doing a lot of tinkering these days.
Nothing against the Rockies, great organization, but you come to the Dodgers, it's a whole different level of expectations, right? I mean, you got Shohei Ohtani and Mookie, you got 3 Hall of Famers at the top. So what was that like going from an organization like the Colorado Rockies to one with all the firepower the Dodgers have, with all the expectations?
Yeah, you know, especially not being here for spring training, walking into that clubhouse the first day, meeting all those guys for the first time. And I've been playing against them, you know, a decent amount over the last few years, made a couple starts against the Dodgers. And I thought I would be extremely nervous. You know, you're walking into basically an all-star clubhouse, and everybody was so welcoming right away. They treated me with more respect than I anticipated, and really made me feel a part of the group from day one. So that, I think, took a lot of pressure off, and I think I was less nervous pitching for the Dodgers than I was anywhere else. So not exactly what I would have expected, but in the best way.
It's amazing how they do that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so last question here. Things, you've seen it. This is a team with LA. You have aspirations to be on the playoff roster, all that. Aspirations to win another World Series. So what things do you think Noah Davis is doing well enough right now to contribute to a World Series championship? What things do you think you need to work on the most?
Yeah, you know, in terms of things I'm doing well, I think I'm doing a decent job of limiting hard contact and mixing my pitches a decent amount, especially down here. Been able to attack the strike zone and kind of get through innings relatively quickly, which I think is pretty important for somebody in my role who's kind of a depth piece to come up and, you know, give the bullpen some length and be available and get through innings quickly. Is something that I would like to be able to do, and I think something I need to improve on kind of goes along those same lines as, you know, hammering first pitch strikes, getting to 2 strikes as quickly as possible, really being in the driver's seat on the mound, not letting the at-bats go too long, not throwing 40 pitches in 2 innings when it needs to be more like 30. That way I'm available more often and able to, you know, kind of solidify a role with this team. So, you know, it's little things. I think I haven't really fallen into the rhythm that I would like to in terms of staying ahead in the count. So that's kind of the deciding factor, I think, for me.
Noah Davis, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.